All right, hello, hello. Okay, it feels weird it feels weird to say this, but I almost feel like awkward and nervous, even though I've made so many videos on like my main channel. But this is like honestly a really new experience because I've never just sat down to a camera and just like talked or like done something. So yeah, but yeah, this is the first video in a start of a hopefully super long series where I focus on improving different parts of my craft in like bladesmithing. Like I'm gonna practice Koftgari in this one. I've been doing YouTube for around 2.5 to 3 years now, and for all of the videos that I've posted like on the Jesse Who channel, I've realized that because I'm trying to keep those as authentic as possible, and like I try to leave the learning for in the video, just so like it's very comprehensive. I've found that I don't really practice things off camera when I should, and I don't even try new things because I want to see like my reaction to the things in the video. And I don't necessarily think that's the best thing to do if I want to become like a better smith. Like it'll just slow down my progression. So these videos are going to be a reason for me to post more and a reason for me to actually practice these things. Like a couple months ago, I went to a class in Seattle to practice Koftgari and learn Koftgari from Jordan Lamoth. And it was like a 5-day class, and I ended up coming out of the class with these 4 practice pieces, like 4 whole practice pieces. I did this like chrysanthemum flower. I did this like 3D lotus flower. I did a yin yang thing because I thought it would be cool. And my first practice piece was like a bunch of flowers with like a weird border or whatever. I haven't completed a single practice piece ever like since, and it's been probably close to like 3-4 months. Like I tried to start this one, but I didn't get anywhere. Like I didn't finish, the borders suck, so I just like lost motivation to like finish it. I didn't know what I was gonna do in it. So yeah, in this video, I'm gonna try to complete an entire practice piece. I don't know how long that'll take. Maybe an hour if I'm being optimistic. Realistically, probably like an hour and a half. And yeah, I'm not just gonna be doing work in silence. Like, I think this will be a good reason for me to talk about stuff that I don't usually talk about. Yeah, I'm just gonna like yap a lot, and hopefully that doesn't get annoying. Hopefully, yeah, you guys, yeah. It's like, with normal YouTube videos, I have to be very curated with what I say because it needs to both be interesting and it has to like there can't be any fluff. And like even right now when I'm talking, like if this was me recording voiceovers, I'll just stop, like either change like the script or whatever, and then say it again. Because like I don't know where I'm going with this, but yeah. Basically, I'm gonna be yapping over me practicing Koftgari. And yeah, so what I'm gonna do is for Koftgari, you want to start on softer steel. This is a piece of like, I don't know the gauge, but it's like a 16th inch mild steel sheet. I lightly sanded the surface so that it's like a pretty even finish. And this is gonna be what I lay the wire on. So yeah, in order to prepare this, the first thing you'll notice that's different about these two, the one that I started and this one that I haven't started on yet, is that this is blue. And the reason that you want to do that is because if you lay wire on something silver, it's going to be really hard to see it, especially if the wire is like really small and the same color. So yeah, but before you lay any wire, you need to cross hatch it anyway. And for cross hatching, you want to do that on a darker surface so you can see where you've hit with the knife. But yeah, I have this like small fire brick chunk that I'm just gonna essentially blue color. Let's see if I can, how does the zoom feature work? Oop. Oh yeah, I'm shooting this on a DJI, by the way. Okay, I don't know how to change the zoom. Whoa. Okay, I don't know how to change the zoom, so I'm just gonna... Oh, it's changing the zoom. All right, sorry, this is gonna be very scuffed, but yeah, so this is my piece. I have a torch. I'm just gonna heat it up until it's blue and hopefully not light anything on fire. And I want it to be as even as possible. I don't know how the audio for this is gonna sound, so. All right, starting to get that bronzy color. I'm gonna make sure no part gets like heated up too much more than any other. Okay. Getting there. Honestly, that's pretty close. Yeah, honestly, that's pretty good. One important thing about this entire process and like the bluing is that like the bluing color isn't just from a function of like how hot it gets, it's how long it stays there. And because I like this color, what I'm gonna do is I have my bench vise. I'm just gonna let it cool, have it suck all of the heat out. And yeah, while that cools, I'll talk about what I'm gonna do next. Yeah, I'm not gonna go like super nitty gritty into the details because like, first of all, I'm still learning it, and also, well, two more reasons. I want to save the actual deep talking about what's going on for when I try this in a YouTube video, and I don't really want to spill all of the secrets that like Jordan taught us. Yeah. Okay, how cool is it? Oh, it's already like basically cool. So yeah, what I have down here, aha, there the zoom works. This is a GRS ball vise that I have set with like there's a resistance to turn it, so I can't turn it like willy-nilly. And I have this wooden block here that it's pretty cool now. I'm gonna essentially super glue it to this so that I have a nice way to hold it in the vise. And yeah, this block isn't gonna move. During the class, it was essentially like we had these small vices on the sides of tables, and there was really no way to move it, so to like rotate. So I ground this circle so I could rotate it in like the parallel jaws. But now that I have a vise itself that rotates, I don't need to worry about that. Oh God. So this piece is ready for cross hatching. What I'm gonna do is take this super glue gel and attach it. It was interesting. During the class, we didn't know exactly how we were gonna attach the metal to the wooden block. And originally we were using hot glue, but this was after I did the engraving for Rengoku's katana, and I learned that hot glue is like really messy, and the best way to do it is like with hot glue and masking tape, or just something else altogether. And I told that to Jordan. He was like, "Oh yeah, that's a really good idea. We can do that." But then, like the shop like overseer came in with a bunch of super glue, and we just used super glue instead. So after using super glue, I think it's a lot better than the masking tape. So yeah. All right. For cross hatching, I might actually make it so that the vise can't rotate because it's a pretty like aggressive process. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to talk about like what I'm going to do for the design of the cross hatching yet, because one of the things that I'm really bad at is coming with ideas for stuff like this. Like I have potential ideas that I would want to try, but for practice, like I don't want to just make another flower. Like I think I want to practice like making straight lines. So maybe I'll do some kind of border or something, but yeah. This is my cross hatching knife. From during the class, we made our like Koftgari knives from 1084, a little bit more rough looking because I didn't have like my own tools, and I made this one out of Magnum Max. So it's a lot more wear resistant, it's a lot more polished, should be a lot more comfortable, and yeah. I only have one of the sides sharpened for now because I don't want to cut myself, but yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is sharpen it up nice and sharp and then just start cross hatching. Also a super cool show and tell thing. This is a, oh shoot, what company is it? Well, this is a vitrified diamond stone, and it's a 400 grit. It's really expensive, unfortunately, because the only way to get something like this is from overseas. So you're not just paying for the cost of the stone, but also for like import fees, tariffs, whatever. So this one stone cost me almost $700. I bought two of them, this one and a 1000 grit stone, for like $13.50 or something. So yeah. All right. Great thing about this vitrified stone is that it's a splash and go. So I don't need to just like constantly be putting water on it. Like that's probably enough water for the entire cross hatching process. And I'm really happy about that because it's really annoying to have to constantly like spray your stone. And like, okay, yeah, it's a little dull. Do a couple strokes. I don't need it to be razor sharp. I guess me using a 400 grit stone probably gave that away. But I wanted to like catch on my nail and have a little bit of bite. Okay, it wants to catch. A couple more. My Izzy is blocking my arm and it's really annoying. Okay. Get all of the liquids out of the way. Get that accelerator out of the way. All right, let's do this without being awkward. But yeah, like these videos, there's a really good chance that they're not going to be the kind to like pull any views or something. Like Jesse 2 is a channel that we made for like posting like side projects and stuff. But I realized that I'm really bad at wanting to post side projects because I want everything to be like a complete like movie. So we posted some like alternate ASMR cuts, somehow got the channel monetized, and then somebody reported it for not being unique like content because a lot of the clips are the same as the main channel. So what they did is they reported it and YouTube demonetized it. And then I was like, oh, that sucks. But like we weren't making much money on it anyway. I think we made $100 in AdSense total on this channel. So I didn't even realize that there was an option to appeal it. And I'm 100% sure if I did try to appeal it, that it would have gone through because like I'm copying myself. So yeah, I have to get 4,000 watch hours again on this channel to get it monetized in the first place. So really the whole goal of this channel isn't to make money or necessarily make the best content. It's a place for me to like document my improvement, give me a reason to improve these things. And while I'm talking to a camera right now, in the future, I want to be able to like travel and record myself without feeling awkward. So in a lot of ways, these videos, unfortunately, are less for you guys and more for me. And yeah, I hope that if there is something that's useful, like someone watching can like take something away from it. But yeah, if I had to fill out like a form for like the reason for this, a lot of it is for me. But yeah, what is this under my table? Ugh. Yeah, oh my god, there's so much weird stuff for me to yap about. Okay, but I'm gonna start. Yeah, let's see how this feels after not doing it for a while. Let's zoom in a little bit. Oops. All right, still recording, nice. Damn, 14 minutes in already. One of the difficult things about Koftgari is the corner. And this entire cross-hatching process is extremely necessary because silver and gold wire, you really need like burrs for it to stick. And this is more of a surface embellishment technique. And this essentially is a process that creates a Velcro-like surface that allows that silver and gold to grab. And right now I'm doing it from one diagonal to the other diagonal. And later I'm going to go at it this way so that I can get like an X of cross-hatching. And yeah, I'm gonna put it back to full zoom because I don't know if it'll get awkward with like without seeing my face. But yeah, I am really curious as to how these videos will go. Like, because it's not for money and it's on a second channel, like, and because it's mostly uncut, like I plan to record these videos and not touch them at all, like just directly post this MP4 file onto YouTube. And I really wonder how it's gonna go, because for some people it works. Like Sam Sulek, he's doing really good. He cuts a little bit because he's not gonna record like 4 hours for every single video. But yeah, okay, my knife's getting a little dull. I'm gonna do a couple strokes. Really, I don't need to sharpen it too much. Like, I can really tell the Magnum-X holds an edge for so much longer than the 1084. But might as well show you what's going on at a closer angle. Oop. But yeah, this is what it looks like so far. As you can see, it's like, you can still see a little bit of blue spots in here, so I need to come back and really get pretty close to 100% coverage. But I'm essentially going to turn this blue all into this, and I'm going to turn it 90 degrees and go at it like this. But yeah, it's going very smooth, honestly. Like, oop. One thing I found is I don't know if it's my attention span or like I'm addicted to like Instagram or something, but nowadays when I do something like this and I'm not filming, it's really hard for me to just like do it without getting distracted for a super long amount of time. And I wonder if that's the case for like other people out there. I'd assume so, because I don't think I'm that special in that I have a low attention span. Ooh, okay. One thing you can do to like tell if your cross-hatching is good is that it'll feel like really aggressive on the back of your finger. One thing that happened at the beginning of the Koftgari class is that I was getting really good coverage. Like there's basically not a spot where you could be like, oh, this spot needs a little bit more, but my wire just wouldn't stick. And the thing that fixed it was pressing harder, like harder than I would have ever thought, and like dropping my angle. And I was doing too much of like a rocking rolling motion and not really doing any cutting. So yeah, my door is making sound. Marlo really likes to come to the door and just be like, what's up, yo? Because there's no latch on this door. You can open it just by pushing it. And Marlo really likes to abuse his power and just go wherever he wants. Okay, I've had a little bit more time to think about what I'm going to do on this. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a straight border, single layer, and I'm going to do a thick border of zigzags. And I'm going to have them sort of radiate, so it's like a bunch of triangles. You probably don't know what I'm talking about. People who went to the Koftgari class probably know what I'm talking about, but yeah, it's going to be a good way for me to practice laying wire, making straight lines, and just getting things to look intentional. I think my knife is like slipping. I need to rock it a little bit less. Getting these weird things. Okay, that's pretty rough. I should be able to stick wire to that pretty well. The thing about this knife is that The knife that I made during the class is like very rough. There's a lot of hard edges. I didn't break the corner super well. But that made it so that even though it was less comfortable, I could index a little bit better. Like this is so shiny and smooth that like it just wants to slip a little bit in my hand. So I don't know, maybe if I make another Koftgari knife, I'll play around with like adding a bit of a grip, because this is the wire laying tool and it has like a JB weld handle. So it indexes into my fingers perfectly. And I don't know why we didn't consider doing it for the knives, because there's a lot of people that went to the class and we made a group chat. And they were talking about how their fingers like going numb. And like obviously that's not good. Like I have young joints and young bones, and like a lot of people that went to the class were 60s, 70s, and like if a lot of stuff works for younger bodies that isn't necessarily optimal or healthy, because like a young body can just deal with anything. Like that's why you just see kids like take the scariest falls off a playground and they just walk away perfectly fine. But yeah, the fact that they walked away from it fine doesn't mean that like it's okay to fall off a playground. So there's probably something more optimal than like using like a knife without a grip. So it might not have been the best analogy, but okay, how are we looking? I think in terms of raw coverage, we're looking pretty good. I'm going back right now and cleaning up some of these other spots. One of the scary things about going back and cleaning something up is that what happens is these like grooves and rough edges, like this Velcro that I was mentioning, they themselves don't hold the wire in permanently. You have to go in later and burnish it with something like agate or like a polished piece of steel, and that basically bends over those Velcro pieces onto the soft metal and just holds everything in perfectly. Where was I going with this? So you can burnish something with your knife by dragging it like this, and I'm trying to be careful and not do that. Good thing is that, okay, we're 22 minutes in, and it feels a lot less awkward for me to talk to the camera. Like one of the things that I've always considered doing is like streaming, like loosely considering, because there's a lot of bad things that can come from streaming. Like I won't mention them, but yeah, I probably would never stream in this house because this is my parents' house. I would only stream if it was the responsibility of like being doxxed or something lies squarely on my shoulders and I don't endanger anyone else. But yeah, it's difficult though, because for streaming, like you can't edit things in post. Like you can edit a YouTube video you make from your streamed clips, but like if you say something stupid, it's going to be on the internet forever. And nobody streams to like with the goal of not having an audience. So if you achieve your goal of growing a big audience to live stream to, there will always be that possibility that some stuff can happen and it just won't be the best for you. And a lot of big YouTubers have streamed at one point. Like Markiplier has, he just randomly starts streams sometimes. Like he did his FNAF 2 stream and like some crazy stuff happened. Like he redid the meme where he's like, first night is never usually that bad, and then he just gets killed by Chica in the exact same time of the night with saying the exact same thing, and then immediately he's like, oh my god, I did the thing. So yeah, because nobody in the knife making space, it's hard enough to make YouTube videos, which is why not too many like people make long form YouTube videos, because a lot of work needs to go into it. And the number of people that would want to stream is even less, because like there's no precedent for it. Like what do you do as a knife making streamer? Like it can only be so entertaining, just like hand sanding something for a bunch of hours. So I don't know, maybe someday I want to get into that. Like I have a lot of stuff to say about everything, because I'm like, I think about stuff. I'm not a very talkative person, but I have stuff to say. And I don't know, it could be interesting. Probably not for at least the next 2 years, though. There's a fruit fly. Okay, this knife is trolling me a little bit. Why is it dulling so fast? Magnum X, you're supposed to save me. But yeah, I think I heat treated this knife at, I austenitized it at 2100 for 15 minutes. And then I blew it with compressed air and put it in a freezer. So no cryo and no plates, but this isn't necessarily flat, so plates wouldn't work the best anyway. So yeah, like on paper, it should have been a decent enough heat treat, but my brother's cooking right now. So if you hear a fridge open, that's him opening the fridge. He's making us pizza. But yeah, normally I film on we film on an S5 II, me and my brother. We have like this full rig surrounding it, and this is gonna be very different from that. I haven't really seen much footage from a DJI, like in post, like on YouTube after all the compression, whatever, but I don't know, I hope this looks good. I hope like you can somewhat see what I'm doing and it's not just like the audio. And I made sure to test the audio. Like, this mic is actually pretty good. This is the first time I'm using it, and the audio probably might even be better than like my long-form YouTube videos, like for the vocals that are in camera, because like my voiceover mic is definitely better than this. But okay, all right, we're at the stage where I have cross-hatched across the entire thing, but my coverage, there's a lot of small spots. Like, if you look at it in this angle, you can see exactly where I missed. I need to go back and like fix that. But if I look at it from the top, it really doesn't look bad. But it can be better. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a little bit of time just like going over everything, making sure on this side it's like perfect. I'll zoom in a little bit. It's even the best angle for this. I don't know. I'll do 2 sharpens worth of cleanup. That's a good way to measure it. Okay. I'm really not doing too many strokes for sharpening. Like, it's not a, you don't need a razor sharp edge for this. It just needs to be able to like cut. Oh yeah, that's abrasive. In some ways what I'm doing is I'm essentially just making a really aggressive file, a really fine and aggressive file. Because if you look at this on a microscopic scale, and basically there's a bunch of pyramid prisms, triangular prisms, at a pretty acute angle. And if you were to scale this up, you would have quite an aggressive file, assuming that the steel that I'm actually cross-hatching is somewhat hard. But yeah, if I were to do this on a knife, I probably wouldn't do it on a blade itself or like any spine, because there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong. So what I'm thinking is I'll probably do it on like a guard of some sort. Like, I've always wanted to try making feather Damascus, and the best place to showcase feather Damascus is like a Bowie, and Bowies like to have guards. So rather than having like a plain stainless steel guard, I could have a carbon steel Koftgari embellished guard that could showcase like a motif that I want to put on that blade or something. Yeah. Okay, honestly, 1 sharpen's worth might have been fine. Like, if this is a practice piece, I don't need it to be like impeccable. But that being said, like, it's good to practice like good habits so that you don't like do bad stuff on the actual. But you know what? We'll call that good enough. All right, what I'm gonna do is rotate it. And honestly, my fingers don't feel that bad. I did go rock climbing yesterday, and my forearms are a little bit sore. But I went rock climbing the week before too, so that means that I'm a little bit more resistant to like being super sore. Yeah, climbing session yesterday was really good though. I climbed a V4 to V6 because the gym that I go to doesn't have like, it doesn't grade the climbs individually, it gives a range. I climbed a V4 to V6, which is the first time I've ever climbed that grade at this gym. I've climbed 2 V3 to V5s, which is, before yesterday I'd only climbed 1 V3 to V5, and it was pretty difficult. But this time I climbed 2. And I also climbed by myself, so there was no one to like cheer me on or anything. Yeah. Okay, pretty sharp. All right, the difficult thing about going the other axis is that there's not going to be as much contrast, so it's a lot more difficult to guarantee that you have coverage. So really that first side is the most important. Also, mango Izzy's refrigerated are quite good. I'm a drink sipper though, and it takes me forever to finish a drink, so it's a little bit less cold. Holy shit, I've been yapping for 31 minutes. Oh my god, there's gonna be... You guys heard me say that, and it's not redacted. That's crazy. And this isn't monetized, so I don't need to worry about that. And like, to be honest, there's no reason for me to really redact all of my cussing on the main channel videos. Because like, who really even like cares about cussing now? Like, pretty much every big channel has some sort of cussing. I don't know if like I try not to cuss because like I get comments that are like, oh my god, I'm watching this with my kids and like they're so inspired to make knives now. And like that's the one of the greatest comments that I can receive, because like one of the reasons I love making videos is to like potentially inspire people. And like that entire idea is somewhat like, I don't know, it feels weird to talk about it because it's almost pretentious, but I can't ignore the fact that like a lot of people comment like, oh my god, you inspired me to get into bladesmithing, and the people who have the most potential are like the youngest, so I like to keep my videos as family friendly as possible. Yeah, I wonder how long this video is going to be, because we're half an hour in and I'm still cross-hatching. I'll probably be done the cross-hatching in like 20 minutes, because I'm going to lock in, but yeah. Also, this is the DJI Pocket, Osmo Pocket 3 or whatever. I got it in China when I was working on my production chef's knife with Shinzo in Yangjiang. And like we were at this tech mall and we were like, oh my god, everything here is so much cheaper than you could get it for in the US. So like I think the Osmo Pocket 3 in the US was retailing for like $800-900 for the creator kit, and in China it was less than $600. And I was like, I don't know when I'll use it, but it's better to have it for a cheaper price than to not have it, right? And what happened was it was really hard to actually pay for stuff in China, because like it's really hard to just like go up with like a Chase debit card or like a credit card and just be like, I want to buy this. Like you need to use like Alipay or like WeChat Pay, and like there's a lot of stuff that you need to, like there's a lot of hoops you need to jump through because you need to verify your identity and all that, and just like it wasn't working. So like Win, which is one of the people who was like driving us everywhere and like showing us places, he offered to pay for me and just take it out of the later like payment that they would send me, and which was very nice. And I don't know if I should even really be talking about that, but yeah. So I have the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, and I haven't really had much opportunity to use it. Like I think my girlfriend has shot more footage on it than I have, which is interesting. And that's another thing for like me deciding to make this series. Like I'm honestly not even fully sure what I'm gonna call it. because the main idea right now is something like shop log or shop vlog. Vlog carries a lot of like negative meaning on YouTube, and I'm not really, shop log doesn't even cover all of it as well. Like, I was considering maybe even like the journey for improvement or something, but I don't only want to record stuff that I'm like practicing or improving. Like, I want it to be very all-encompassing, but also descriptive, and like I don't want to clickbait these titles because like that's annoying and there's no point. And like I don't know, I have a interesting relationship with clickbait in general, because I'm sure I could get more views if I titled my video something like with like a question, like, can I do this? Like, maybe like more like saturated and crazy thumbnails. But one of the things I like about YouTube is that it's more permanent. And if you change the titles of the videos all the time, and like somebody who actually remembers the video and tries to come back and look and can't find it because they used to know it under a different title, or like sometimes I'm watching Blacktail Studios videos and I'm like, I really like that one video where he made this, and I'm like looking for it and it's really hard to find it because it's just like named something completely different, and like he doesn't talk about in the title what he makes sometimes. Like, so yeah, I'm sure he gets more views, but I like the idea of permanence and like having stuff be more appropriately labeled, almost like a library. But yeah, so I want a naming convention / mechanic that is descriptive, allows me to post really whatever, gives me a reason to practice some stuff / improve. But yeah, I still need to come up with that. I also don't know what the vibe of these videos is going to be, like maybe 10 videos down the road. Like right now, like my dad's out of the house, my mom's out of the house, my brother's in the kitchen making food, and I specifically told them all to not disturb me. Because like, partially because I don't want to have to like cut anything out. Like I don't want to, I would do post-production, but I want this to be more like go with the flow. So yeah, it could be a thing where like the walls slowly come down and I'm less insistent on like not being disturbed. But yeah, who knows what it'll look like. Maybe this will be the last one of these I post. Maybe my Osmo Pocket 3 breaks down, or like the FBI comes to my house and is like, yo, you can't make these videos anymore because they would garner too much attention and you'd be breaking the rules of the Matrix or whatever. That's not gonna happen. But yeah, man, this really is kind of fun to just like work and yap. Like, I haven't even been really talking about the work, which is crazy. Speaking of which, we are almost done with the cross-hatching. And after the cross-hatching, what we're going to do is we're going to heat it up with a torch and blue it so that I have a nice dark background that I'll be able to like lay some silver wire on and see what I'm doing. Okay, we're almost there. Doing some cleanup. Let you see what I'm looking at right now. Oh, flip. Oh my god, this thing pans so slow. But yeah, I don't know how well you can see that. Maybe I should like zoom in a little bit. But yeah, it's really hard to see, but I do have pretty good coverage. But yeah, I'm gonna do one more sharpen worth of cleanup, and then I'm gonna start laying wire. I don't even know if this is the best camera angle. Oops. I believe my stone needs a little more water. It's been doing well though. I don't know, I really like the idea of permanence and like durability, which is why vitrified stones drew me like in so hard, is because like they're essentially indestructible, and if they sharpen well, then you never need to buy another stone in your life. And I always like that idea. I will probably still buy more stones, because what else would you spend money on as a knife maker? But what was I talking about? I don't know what I was talking about. But okay. Oh yeah, there's like so many tools they use in Koftgari, and I get to talk all about them later. I love a reason to use tools, because then I don't feel like I'm wasting money on the tools. The camera's still at 100%, looking good. The green like audio gain bar is still moving, which means audio is still working. Okay, just a little bit more in the middle. I'm not really too worried about the middle. Like, the thing about Koftgari is that your edges are going to be the most important, because they're going to be the areas that encounter the most wear. Like, if you're using a knife and you brush the knife against something, it's going to be your edge that contacts. So it's going to be most difficult for the gold or silver wire to stick there. And yeah, you can also use like copper and stuff, but I have never tried it, and I think that it's a little more difficult, and I don't really foresee a reason for me to want to incorporate orange. But in the class, there were some people that tried it, and it looked pretty good. Jordan actually tried it too. He tried a test piece on titanium, but okay, I'm gonna call that good. Oh, stop. Okay, now I need to get this off. I need to heat it up and then glue it back. It's really impossible to glue it while it's still on here, because it'll just break the super glue bond, but I'm gonna see if I can. All right, Jesse, don't cut yourself. Nice. Another thing, okay, that's the problem with super glue. You can peel apart your wood, which is kind of crazy. Okay, what do I do about this? You know what? It won't be that big of an issue. All right, let's glue this thing. I want the camera to be close. You know, I'll just hold it again. I'll hold it again. Flip. Also, I made sure to shave before this, because I've only ever heard negative things about my mustache. Okay, the far area heated up more, which is interesting. Okay, close area heated up. Center, why are you not heating up? Okay, that looks pretty good. What am I gonna do? Let's put you on the metal. I have not really paid attention to what's in the background, by the way. Like, if I'm doxing myself, and you know, that's not the best, but yeah. There's also just a king-size bed here, by the way. We had friends over, and the only place that made sense for them to stay was in a room that wasn't currently being used as a bedroom. So, you know, okay. Yeah, okay. I'm really impressed with the DJI so far. I've been recording for 43 minutes, still at 100%. I do have it attached to a battery, but I don't need to judge how well it functions without the battery. I'm always going to be using it with the battery. I'm going to dry off my stone too. Yeah, I don't know what the rule is with these vitrified stones. Like, there's some stones that you can't let water stay on them or else they'll crack. I don't know what it is with vitrified stones. Like, yeah. The stones that we were using during the class were the super cheap, like $5, $10 stones you get off Amazon. And those were so soft that after sharpening, you could feel a dish. And like, I don't know, I can't feel any differentiation between like level on this. And I've done a lot of strokes with that Magnum X, so very impressed with this stone and kind of glad I bought it, even though it was really expensive. But okay, we got our canvas for the wire. I'm gonna try to you know what? It's gonna be impossible for me to aim the wood in the exact spot that I took it out of, so I'm just gonna put a glob there. I think what I'll do in the future is I'll get a stronger piece of wood so that the super glue isn't strong enough to like pull it apart. Oh great, it pulled the wood back on. Part of the wood went back on. What is that? How is that even possible? Okay, I'm gonna have to fix this. Oh, now you want to come off. This is troubleshooting with Jesse. Okay, that glue is gone. I'm just gonna glue it again. One of the things I found funny was that a lot of people don't intuitively know how much super glue to use for something like this. And I remember like somebody during the class, I forgot who it was, but they were just like, Jesse, do you have any tips on getting this glue to dry? And they pick up their plate and it, like the super glue is gushing out. And like, I thought that was kind of funny because super glue really likes to be used in small quantities, and hey, so that's really annoying. All right, I think it's because it's not flat. All right, that should be flatter. It's got wood dust everywhere. Let's tighten that. Just a little bit of undried glue. Let's see if that works. Oh wow, what do you know? It immediately worked. That's crazy. Okay, so this is the wire that I'm going to be using. It's just like a wooden dowel. I don't know if it's, yeah. It's a dowel with some wire on it. There's really not that much. I might have to refill it, but I do have some wire from Sharpier right here. And it's really thin wire. It's 3/1000 of an inch thick, which is around the human hair. And yeah, these are some stare-it dividers that I'm going to use to mark where I'm going to start this border, because it's really good to have like a line denoting exactly where you want something to be laid. And if I want to lay a straight line, it's actually quite easy to like lightly scribe a line with dividers. You don't want to do it too hard because you don't want to burnish out the channel that you're going to then lay the wire into. But all right, I'm going to do, that looks pretty good. Just going to lay some lines on all 4 of the edges, very, very lightly. Oh, it's so nice to have a rotating ball vise. I don't know why I started whispering. Okay, that's 2. Really not pressing hard at all. I think Jordan Lamothe had one of these, and I like getting the tools that the people that teach me stuff have, because obviously if they're teaching using it, then it has to be good. But okay, let's see if I can actually show this on camera. Yeah, you can see that. It's 4 very, very fine lines. And they're fine enough to where I can just lay the wire over them. Here's what I'll do. I kind of want you guys to be able to see this. Pull this closer, aim this down, and up the zoom. Wow, would you look at that? Beautiful. Okay. Now, where's my wire laying tool? Here's my wire laying tool. Yeah, this is essentially just a very specific geometry. I won't go too much into it, but the tip is at a slight angle, and you use this to press the wire in. And over here, you've got like a chisel, and this is going to be the eraser, because you don't use an eraser on wire. You want to pry it out. So yeah, this is how I'm going to be holding it, sort of like a, I don't hold my pencils like this. I usually hold my pencils like this, but this is how Jordan taught us, so that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to grab it in my left hand. I like using my thumb and my middle finger, but yeah. Also, I've realized that I like working not perfectly square to the table. I like laying wire like this because just more ergonomic. But yeah, let's lay this line and see how it goes. Let's see how good your cross hatching was, Jesse. Was it bad? Probably. God, what are you doing? Okay, yeah, this is a really bad angle, but I'm going to lay a line first and then move the camera. No. Oh. Yeah, one of the things that happens really often is I just break the wire. All right, Jesse, what are you doing? Lock in. Okay, not bad so far. My line is moving just a tiny bit. Bring that back up. So clumsy right now. It feels like, okay, I need to change my lighting and I need to change the camera. Okay, got my first line laid. What do I want to do? Move that. I need a much taller camera stand. This is not going to work. Yeah, that way you'll be able to actually see what I'm doing. Change the lighting so I can actually see. Okay, that might be too intense. Essentially, I have the light right in front of the camera. But we have that line on one side. I want to be able to like lean into, so I'm going to move that forward a bit. Okay, this lighting might be too intense. Give myself a little bit more wire. Oh my god, it's so annoying. But yeah, I'm just trying to lay some straight lines. And one important thing about this is that you have to press it in on this first pass. You can't go back and press it in more, because by pressing in an area where there's a hump and there's wire that's already pressed, you'll sort of push up the wire surrounding it. That's a no bueno. Well, I've never said no bueno in my life. That's a Will Stelter quote. Okay. First line was a little bit better. First wine. What? Okay. This third line, and then we'll start thinking about some zigzags. Or I'll probably end up creating a second line. It's a lot further inward to contain the zigzag, but Jesse, lock in. What are you doing? But yeah, if you press it and it peels up, what I found is best to do is just like cut off the bit that wasn't pressed in super well. My pressing tool feels different today than it usually does. Like, it's a lot harder for me to balance on the wire. Maybe it's because my cross hatching is a lot deeper or something. But yeah, I'm essentially just like walking along the wire and pressing it. Yeah, it feels weird. What? Where am I getting? Oh, I'm contacting the inside. I gotta lean forward more. Okay, that line went a lot better. One of the things that can happen is very slow pan. You see, my wire is laid like right here, but you can see a line like under it. And that's because the tip is like, it's a little bit flat. So what's happening is I'm contacting on the bottom, and that I'm not necessarily super planar to the surface. So I need to be more wary of how I'm angling my piece. Okay. Honestly, these lines look pretty good. They're a lot better than the practice piece I did before, probably because I'm like, this is going to be on the internet and I don't want to look bad, but also like, oh, see, I pressed it and it didn't stick. No. All right. Oh. What happened? Okay, the wire is in, it just broke it. Yeah, one of the things I found interesting is that even Jordan breaks a lot of his wires. And that the best people at Koftgari are really good at connecting broken wires to look like one singular wire. Okay, now I'm contacting on the top. I think this just means my cross-hatching is like deeper or just like different. Okay. All right, laying basic straight lines not too bad. I don't feel too bad about that. But now I want to scribe a line that's inside a little bit so that I have a line to do my zigzags. The problem with this though, shoot, I don't have a ruler. Okay, I have a ruler. I want these zigzags, if you want zigzags to go like this, you need to have them, they need to like be a factor of the length. Like if this is 1 inch and my zigzags were like not like a quarter or like a third or a sixth, then they wouldn't terminate and look good. So what am I at right now? That is 1 5/16. What's a good divisible factor of that? So it's essentially, if I did, okay, 1 5/16 is 21/16. That is really not divisible by anything. I'm just gonna eyeball it. What is 21/16 divided by 5? So it's around 21/80, which is around a fourth, which is well, that makes things easy. 1/4 inch. I can't tell if I did my math wrong. Oop. Wait, of course my math is wrong. 5/16. It's a little bit more than a 1/4 inch. All right, we'll call this good. Decent eyeball. Yeah, I'm almost confident my math was, oh, but it's not just that. It's minus this length. So if I want it to be here, I'm going to need that to, okay, I just need to do it. Rough line about there. All right, so it'll be dot, 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 dot. Okay. Even the line I scribed was wrong, so we're just gonna wing it. I'm gonna do this inner first, and I'm gonna start doing those diagonals. Yeah, earlier I said that the goal, I don't know how long this video would be, but the goal is not to make it like a 4-hour video. So yeah, I'm not really limited by my SD card or anything, but a lot of times I realize that if something is taking a little bit too long, what's happening is that I'm not doing, and I'm like either thinking about something a lot or I'm getting distracted. So if this video ends up taking 4 hours, then I was either yapping too much or I was just hesitating. Nice. Okay, these lines are really not looking that bad. I'm also scared I'm going to run out of wire. I've never reloaded this dowel with wire except for at the class. And at the class I had the teacher, Mr. Jordan Lamothe, so yeah. Alright, yeah. The reason I'm doing the diagonals is because I want to practice my straight lines and like setting certain angles and letting the wire terminate in a, like starting and ending a wire in the right place and angles, so this will be a good way to practice that. This wire is also like really thin, and like I think if I were to do this long term on like a longer project and I want it to be a lot better, probably buy a scope of some kind. But okay, now that I have these two boxes, I'm gonna lay the connecting wire between the corners just so I have one of the diagonals. Is that the right way to do it? Maybe. We'll see. Okay, that looks pretty good. I don't know if you guys can see this. I assume you can because my framing skills are impeccable. Just kidding, that was a joke. I'm not usually the one managing the camera. Yeah, I guess that is another thing that I want to improve. I want to be better at, like Alex Steele does it really well. He can film by himself, he can film with Jamie. If I wanted to film a video solo, it would be kind of awkward, and I want to get rid of that awkward stage by like doing it on something that's a little bit less like perilous if it's not good. Because like if I was trying to do this on like a documentary, something that I sunk like thousands of dollars into filming, like that would just be a terrible idea. Okay. We are looking quite good actually. Okay, there has to be a faster way to do this. But yeah, that's what we're looking like right now. Pretty good. I'm gonna start thinking about doing the zigzags. Almost looks like a tesseract, but okay, we'll pan you down again. In fact, I think I might zoom you in even more. There we go. All right, so what I can do is I can actually, you can sketch lines with a scribe. This is a carbide, like tungsten carbide scribe. It's not focusing on it, but I dropped it, and I broke the tip, and then I resharpened it. So, okay, if this is my center point, the center point of that is right here. Okay, the zigzag is not going to look very good because the angles are going to be different. But if I did a thing where I connect this immediately to here, yeah, honestly, that would look a lot better. So what we're going to do is we're going to not do two zigzags in the center. And, oh yeah, I'm almost out of wire. Hey, wire is not cheap, by the way. Like, honestly, silver is not too bad, but gold. I bought 50 feet of gold wire in preparation for actually doing Koftgari. 50 feet of wire that is thinner than a human hair cost me $700. Frankly, that's absurd. Gold prices are insane, and the cost of rolling gold wire is like, it's probably a really like difficult process, but like that's expensive, man. The amount of gold I would actually use on a project is nowhere close to like 50 feet, but still, that's like a cost you can't ignore when trying to price a piece. Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm just gonna do that on all 4 sides. It's about the center. It's about the center. It's about the center. Oh my god, this is crazy. Like, because I don't know what I'm doing, this looks like it has no meaning right now. But inevitably, this is going to be the thumbnail of the first series, of the first video in a series that will hopefully be really long. So it's like, even though it doesn't look like what I'm making carries a lot of meaning, in the future it will. Isn't that crazy? Ooh, I could feel the wire really well on that one. I'm starting to get a feel for this pressing tool again. Yeah, I'm like gliding across it now. I feel no roughness or proof that my angle is bad. Just, like, you don't see any lines around it either. Like earlier I was talking about, there's a line underneath one of my lines, like right here. Now there's just the silver line. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting design because it's not really going to be a border. It's going to be like a very geometric like thing. Almost kind of like the yin yang, but like with a weirdly angled octagon. I don't know how to describe it, but I don't know. Well, am I even going to call this Koftgari practice, or am I going to call it straight line Koftgari practice? Because that's all I'm doing right now. I'm just doing straight lines. Like, there are 0 curved lines. Oh my god, I'm out of wire. Okay, so now it's just me and this little bit of wire. Whoop. Alright, me and even less wire than I originally had. Oop. Oh yeah, it's really hard to anchor the wire with your left hand if there's no dowel. Also, it's really hard to pull it. And that line was bent. It's the only line in this thing that's bent. Can I do it better on attempt number 2? Alright, bad start already. Yeah, I'm gonna need to roll some new wire. Alright, yeah, this is pretty bad. Okay, redemption. Redemption? Boom! Okay, that wasn't straight either, but okay, got a little bit of wire left. Time to roll some new wire. And also time to figure out how to do this on my own. Okay, this is how this wire comes. Move that light because I look stupid. Okay, a lot can go wrong. Like a lot can go wrong. How do I prevent it from going wrong? Okay. So there's 2 sides that I can potentially start from. There's like wire taped to that side and that side. But this side said start. So I'm going to listen to that and start on the side that says start. I'm going to leave the tape there just so I can so later on I can have a spot to put it back. All right, we'll put this through the dowel. We're going to bend it, and then I'm going to start coiling. Okay, it immediately came out of the hole. Jesse, why are you like this? It's interesting that it smells like metal. I would have thought that the metal smell came from steel specifically and not like metal in general. But here we are. It smells like steel. Okay. Usually, like at the class, we had 10 feet of wire as like a metric, but I don't have a person helping me with this, so it's really hard to measure out exactly 10 feet. So I'm just gonna do it until the amount of wire on my dowel feels nice and meaty. Oh my god, we're an hour and 10 minutes in. This is actually gonna be a 2-hour video, which is gonna be crazy. First video in this series is gonna be 2 hours. Who the hell is gonna watch a 2-hour shop vlog? Like, that's what I'm saying though. This would have been a really good live stream, but I can't live stream, according to what I said earlier in the video. I also don't know if I'm gonna do chapters or anything, because it's gonna be easy for me to like look back and know what happened and just put chapters, and it won't take me too much time, but it'll make it a lot easier to watch through if somebody's like trying to decide whether they're gonna watch or not. Okay, how do I break this wire? That is a great question. Oh, okay, that was easy. I have broken the wire. Now, the goal is to make it easy for future me to use. Okay. Wow, that was flawless. All right, it's under the start tape, and now I'm assuming that this is made to cover it so that it doesn't oxidize. And next time, all I need to do is just do that same thing again. Boom. Wow, okay. I'm very impressed with myself. Okay, what is the plan? Drink some water. I think I'm dehydrated. All right. I'm going to be amazed if anyone makes it this far in the video, by the way. The only way I can know that is if I say something for that person to do so that I would know. Okay, yeah, if you made it this far in the video, comment like your favorite type of cow. Like, do you like the super fluffy Highland cows? Do you like the stereotypical, like, white and black spotted cows? Yeah, let me know, and I'll know you made it this far. And I'm going to be very impressed. Okay. Next thing to practice straight lines, I want to do like a radiating effect, where like there's a triangle inside this triangle. And then I'm going to keep doing that. Probably like 3 or 4 layers in. All right, let's start on the outside, because it's essentially just a triangle border. Also, I don't necessarily need to break the wire. I can just do this. Aha! That'll practice like turning as well. Brilliant idea, Jesse. Capitalizing on being lazy. Nice. Okay, I'm gonna change the zoom again. Completely forgot about that. Perks of not having operated a camera. Okay, that was first line. That looks pretty good. Let's do it on the next triangle. Yeah, that's the kind of thing. If I framed it badly in like a normal YouTube video, or if my brother framed it badly, we could just refilm it. But the point of this is not to be super, like, polished. The point is, Jesse, you completely fucked it up. All right, here's what I'll do. I'll do this one first. Oh my god, I said the F word. The video immediately becomes PG-13. Although, to be fair, if you're a kid and you're watching and you made it to this point, I would be completely amazed if you weren't, like, super bored. It's kind of like the F-bomb that they dropped in Guardians 3. First F-bomb dropped in the MCU, and it was for no purpose to the plot at all. Held no weight, but it was still the most hilarious thing in the world. Alright, I'm going to just start a new wire, because the time it took me to fix that mistake was basically the amount of time, oh god, I've been talking for so long. Basically the amount of time it would take for me to lay an entirely new set of 2 wires. So therefore, let's avoid the mistakes and save time, shall we? Okay, this is actually going very fast. It might not be a 2-hour video. Oh my god, at the end of the video I can talk about what I'm probably going to do in the next video. And it would be really funny if I did that and I just posted something completely different. The trolling potential is so high. Like, it would be... Like, YouTube is getting a lot better at, like, analyzing videos, like, probably transcripting them, putting them in an AI. I wonder what an AI would think of the transcript in this video. Like, does it know that I'm addressing it? Like, right now? Like, how would you describe what's going on in a concise way? Like, I think a human would be able to do that, but I don't know if an AI could. Alright, I've realized that in order for this to look like the radiating triangles, I have to also do these inner triangles. And it'll just look like a thicker line until I get to the point where there's like a bunch of smaller triangles. Wow, what the heck did you just do, Jesse? Okay, that was probably the worst line so far, but that's okay. Because the one thing I noticed about Koftgari is that at the beginning, as you're laying the lines, like your single shape line might not look that good. But then at the end, once you're done shading or like finishing making the flower petals, it looks more organic and so much more natural. And every mistake you made almost looks intentional, which I think is really cool. Like on the flower, I made a, like on this one, like if you look closely, it's not perfect. And as I was making these, it just looked terrible. But as you zoom out and you just look at it, you're like, damn, that looks pretty good. And I think that's what's going to happen here. It's a little bit less like concise of an idea of what I'm exactly trying to do. But, and by that I mean like I was figuring out what I was trying to do as opposed to like aiming to make a bunch of chrysanthemums, but yeah, okay. Last one, and then we'll go into the inner triangles, and then we'll start radiating. This might actually look kind of cool. I don't know what I'm going to put in the center, though. If this is a straight line piece, I don't necessarily have to put straight lines in the center, because, like, that could be boring. Like, I could do... Ooh, I'll do a chrysanthemum in the middle. How about that? I remember how I did it, so... Nice, okay. That looks pretty good. It looks very clean from far away. Damn, the Osmo isn't even that, like, hot. It's kind of being a trooper. Okay, let's radiate inwards on these 4. Oop. I don't know, at the beginning I was feeling pretty anxious about how I think this video is going and how comfortable I feel. But now I honestly, I feel pretty good about it. I don't feel super awkward. I feel a little awkward, but that's one of the things. It's really hard to improve within the span of an hour, but after thinking about having done it and having the video live, like the improvement will come, not even in the second video in the series per se, but it'll come like over the course of like a dozen or like 100 videos. Yeah, who knows if this series will make it to video 100. It's like, it's almost scary to call it a series in the first video because you essentially set yourself the goal and you make it public. And one of the things about like talking about your goals is that sometimes it makes it more difficult to accomplish because you get sort of the emotions you feel from talking about doing it, almost, they can replace actually doing it. So I don't want to fall into that trap and like actually do what I'm talking about. Like, it would be sad if I was like, oh my god, there's going to be a series, and then like in the future there's only like 3 or 4 videos, or maybe this will be the only one. Like, I was watching Ludwig do his streamer university class, and he was saying how 92% of people who have ever streamed on Twitch only stream once. They don't stream again, which is like, to me that's crazy, and it makes sense, but it's still crazy. And it's like, I don't want to be the 92% that does this once. Is like, that's not for me. I only want to make long form, super highly polished videos. I want to go through that process of like improving. And there's probably some of you who don't really know what I mean by like improving for this kind of video. But yeah. Okay. How do I think that looks? I think it looks awkward because not all of it's done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the outside again. I also never look up when my hands are like working, and I hope that I'm not blocking anything. It's insane how much time this GRS vise is saving though. Like, being able to just rotate it without needing to like unclamp like a super rickety vise and like tightening it, and just like, it's so nice. Yeah, honestly, this doesn't look terrible right now. Like, you really can't do Koftgari for too long in a day because your eyes will get tired, your hands will get tired, and generally to improve something like this, you want to be at your like best. Like, just doing it for 12 hours a day wouldn't give you 6 times the improvement from doing it for 2 hours with complete focus. Oops. It's also crazy to think about that this is only my like 5.5 overall practice piece. Like, muscle memory develops quite fast, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I feel like maybe it's because the amount of time that's passed since the class I took, and I've had a lot of time to just like think about it and like see other people do Koftgari and be like, oh, now I actually know how that works. But yeah, it is interesting to think about. Okay, yeah, I think my concentration is waning a little bit. I think I'm a little hungry, but that's okay. Yeah, it's I can tell that laying shorter lines is pretty difficult. Because it's harder to like to give it a little bit of tension and mark exactly where you want that line to be. Okay, so I just did 1/2 of the outside. 4 more of those. And out of the inner triangles. So I'm essentially 1/3 of the way through. Oh, got a little bit far there. It's okay though, because I'm firmly estimating my giving it more and giving it less will balance out in the end, and it'll look extremely even. I don't know if that's how that works. Yeah, I think one thing I might do in the future is like, I'm going to have certain things that I want to talk about, because like a lot of what I'm talking about now is related to the fact that this is the first video, but like I can't do that in every single video, because not every video will be the first video, obviously, but also like a lot of what I'm talking about is based on uncertainty, and there will be more certainty in the future. So I need to come prepared to these videos and like know what I want to talk about. I wonder if anyone's going to be watching this. Okay, the answer to that is yes. Like, people will be watching this on their TV. Maybe it's one person, but like, I really can't imagine that, you know. Oh. Okay, one more. Like, if this is going to be on someone's TV, there's going to be like a random Asian dude working on Koftgari talking into a microphone that's like magnetically strapped to his shirt, and it's just going to be coming out of the speakers of a TV. Like, maybe nobody will watch this video, but I have proof that after posting about it on Instagram, like 100 people subscribe to this channel, and at least one of them has to see this video, which is kind of crazy. Okay. Whew. That low-key looks kind of cool. I don't know if I can zoom in anymore, but if I do this, isn't that kind of cool? But yeah, okay. Let's iteratively improve this. Also, it has been 90 minutes and the battery is now dead. It is not charging the camera anymore. So this battery lasts about an hour and a half. And it's like always crazy. Like, when you buy equipment, you always see like, oh, the battery lasts this long. But really, the best way to know exactly how long something will last or like work is to try it out yourself. So now I have empirical evidence that the big battery attached to the Osmo Pocket 3 lasts for 90 minutes. And now I won't have to have the uncertainty of like looking at like Google saying, oh my god, the battery lasts for this long. Like, that will carry a lot less meaning, because I myself know how I'll be filming and what circumstances I'll be filming, and there will be no error as to the reading of it'll last for an hour and a half. I will just know. Yeah, one thing that I can't stop myself from doing because I make YouTube videos is thinking about how a video will perform. Like, interesting thing about this video is that because it'll be the first in a series, it'll get views simply because it's the first video. Like, my predictions are maybe like 50 views in like the first week or something. And it's like, it's honestly kind of hard for me to like talk about that and like give a good reading, because main channel has like 412,000 subscribers. And so there's proof that at least more than one person in the world would watch something that I put out. But like how it'll perform on the second channel. Who knows? All right, I'm going to zoom out a little bit and put you further back for this last little section, just so there's actually just more of me. Like, oh, that was crazy. I don't know if that messed with the recording in any way, but all right, let's continue iterating on this triangle border. Ooh, I know what I'm going to do in the center. I'm just going to do a spiral. I'll move the camera closer for that when the time comes. Oops. Yeah, one thing that happened at the class was that my elbows and my entire like body in general just got really worn out from doing Koftgari, because we were doing it for over 5 to 6 hours per day for 5 days straight. And if you never do something like that, like cross hatching, your body's not used to it. So what happens is, like, you just get really beat up. Like, I remember at the end, like, I had to purposefully not do Koftgari because, like, my body was just, like, getting destroyed. But how do I think this practice is going? I think it's actually going quite well. I'm getting a lot more confidence in knowing how the wire moves. I can see the confidence in the work. And I think that's pretty cool, because that's the whole point of practice. Like, I used to play cello. Technically I can still play, but you know, I haven't really touched it in a long time. And like, one of the things that really a lot of confidence is just shifting to your higher notes. And like, sometimes when you're practicing, like, you're training muscle memory, of course, but you're also training the confidence that you'll be able to hit that note when you shift. It's because it's like, the act of shifting is not super like complicated, but like, you need the confidence that you're actually going to hit the note. Wow, it just got really quiet because I had nothing to say. I probably sound, if somebody heard me in real life, they would think I'm crazy. We're almost done with the outside. It's kind of hard to tell how many layers deep I am in each section because there's just so many lines. Come on. Okay. One more, then I'm done with the outside, 3 layers. Honestly, should I call it after these 3? Because if I go all the way, it'll just look really cluttered. And the triangles do add some like texture. Okay. That looks pretty good. All right, I'm going to move the camera closer for the next one because I think it's a lot more fun to know what you're seeing. Not bad, not perfect. Definitely getting a lot better as I'm doing it, which is the goal. Also, I've realized I'm talking a lot and I'm not drinking a lot more, so I need to drink more water. Sorry. Alright, I'm going to do one ring of triangles on these 4 right here, and then I'm going to do a big spiral. Oh, I haven't had an Izzy. Gotta love mango Izzies. Oh, that's probably why I'm burping. Okay. Last 4, and then we'll do the spiral, and then we will burnish, which I have not done outside of the class. So that'll be very interesting because, like, even though burnishing is like the last step that toughens up everything like that you're doing, you can burnish the wrong way and you can hurt the piece. Like, one of my like practice pieces that I did at the class looked better before burnishing, actually, because like I burnished wrong, I didn't use oil the right way, I didn't do the right temperature, and it peeled up some of the wire, which means that my cross hatching wasn't perfect. But if Jordan had burnished that piece instead of me, it would look better after the fact. Oh, it's crazy. I haven't looked at my phone in over an hour. I actually turned it on Do Not Disturb. And everyone that would be worried for me not responding, I have let know that I will not be responding. So, yeah. I'm like in my little bubble right now, just talking to a camera, which is interesting. It's almost like therapeutic, but I say a lot of things are therapeutic. Hand sanding is very therapeutic. Last one. Boom. All the zigzags are done. Sorry. Now what I need to do is do a big spiral. And in order to do that, where is my... Okay, I've just completely rotated this out of whack. I'm going to loosen it a tiny bit so it's easier to spin. A little more. Okay, that's pretty good. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to start... Oops. One of the worst things that can happen, though, is you hold onto the wire and then you drop it because then it unwinds, it gets tangled. And contrary to popular belief, it is not very fun to untangle wire that is both expensive, super thin, and very shiny, so you can't see what's going on. Okay, do I want to scribe a line? I think I do. Assuming that's the center. Pretty good center, all things considered. Not off by a whole lot, but we will rotate this way. All right. Worst thing that can happen is I screw up the look of something that would look cool without the spiral. Which I think it does, but I think it could look cooler. So, all right, Jesse. Lock in. Most important thing for this spiral is this initial circle, by the way. And it already kind of is not super round. That one was not super good. But we'll leave it because, you know. Okay. The flat is too long and I'm not bending fast enough. Okay. Okay, there's a bit of a wrinkle there. But that's why this is called practice. And one of the things about circles in Koftgari is that the smaller they are, the more harder it is. What did I just say? And it's like, it's not even like by a little bit or like it's not even like power rule or whatever. It's pretty much exponential. Like a small circle is just so much more difficult. Do I like that? You know what? I think that's okay. And now we'll just progressively spiral inward. I feel like I'm too far inward. Why is this line getting pulled so far in? I just realized. End game Koftgari technique. You want to be able to rely less on the thing that's actually rotating your piece. Like I should be able to do a circle without rotating the vise super often and just doing it by hand. This is not a very good spiral, by the way. You can tell that I've been doing a lot of straight line practice and not circle practice. All right, let's think about this. It is absolutely looking worse than it did without the spiral. Is that okay? Honestly, I'm really kind of hating it right now. But is it okay? It should be. Okay, the light is messing me up. That's what it is. I can't see the wire. Okay, camera battery is doing well. We are an hour and 44 minutes in. Frankly, that is absurd. Apologies to YouTube for having to process a video this long. But it's okay. Like, it's actually, one of the things I like to think about is how absurdly, like, dense their storage must be. Like, they probably have data centers that can hold just, like, yottabytes and yottabytes. Like, I don't even know if that's, like, the right prefix for bytes. But they definitely hold petabytes. Like, they probably fill up a petabyte in, like, a minute. But, like, if that's the case, then they probably have, like, millions of petabytes of storage. And the fact that they can be able to house, like, pretty much any length YouTube video, any length stream indefinitely and have people able to access all of that footage for essentially for free. Like, how big is their infrastructure? Okay, this spiral is looking better now that it's got more spirals. I think my cross-hatching is actually pretty good. I haven't had really any difficulty actually sticking the wire. Okay, even in these short loops, spiraling is getting easier. My left hand is getting more confident. The only thing is, spiral is entirely dependent on the last loop that you did. So if the last loop that you did wasn't super good, then if you want it to be a good spiral, it necessarily can't be perfect unless your first line is perfect, and my first line was not perfect. Oh god, I'm traversing so much less distance per rotate because spirals get smaller. But theoretically, I'm making the same rate of progress toward the center because the distance that each spiral is from the last one stays constant. God, everything is a differential equation, man. Am I going crazy? Oop. That was a little scary, but that's okay. Oop. Okay. Don't be greedy, Jesse. Smaller and smaller. There's absolutely no benefit to rushing now. Zero benefit. Except for maybe your hands can rest. Which might... Oh. You know what? Oh. That was a little bit of a leap, a little bit of a gap there. Oop. You know what? We will aim to have this terminate all the way in the center. It's going to be very difficult. Oh my god, it is insane how much better a rotating vise is for doing circles. Okay. Boom. You know what? That looks pretty freaking good. Oh my god, you're looking at the mic that I'm recording audio on. Boom. Super geometric, nothing organic, nothing like a flower like the stuff in the background, but the point of this is practice. I don't need to do super organic stuff. Right now I'm just practicing getting used to my tooling again. Like, damn. Okay. Because I think that looks pretty good, what I'm gonna do is begin the process of what's it called? I'm actually blanking. Burnishing it. Okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tighten the vise. Oh wow, I'm really tired and hungry, which is good that I finished that spiral. So I'm gonna pry this piece off, and I'm gonna heat it up and oil it and begin burnishing it. Wow, more wood got taken off. Okay. That's perfect. Doesn't really matter that it's on here, but you know what? We'll try and scrape it all off. Just kidding, we can't. So, you know what? Why did I tighten the vise? That absolutely benefited me zero. Brick, piece. Ooh, wait, I could take like a thumbnail, a still, be like, how can I do that? Okay. Yeah, that'll be a good still. I look goofy as hell. Okay, change the lighting a little bit, see if I can get a better one. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, I'm gonna ruin it. How do I do this? Let me grab the oil, because you want to burnish with oil. I think any oil works, but like we use cutting oil during the class, but I have some Ultimate Knife Care oil that I don't know if is better, but it's okay that I don't know and that it's gonna be a test. Oh, I wanna take a picture of this, because it'll never look like this with the blue background again, so might as well, you know. Okay, let's heat it up. I don't want this to be just a blue. I want it to almost be like a gray-black color. Like I want it to get really hot. One of the things I did during the class is I was too scared to heat it up too much, but Jordan was like, you can blast it pretty hard. Okay, it's at that color. I'm gonna start gently burnishing it. Gently burnish all of these lines. And this is just like an agate stone on top of like a metal holding thing. I'm just like lightly brushing all of these lines. Because if you do it too hard at the beginning, you're just gonna like physically push all of them off, and we don't want that. Yeah, part of the burnishing also, like the cross-hatching is rough, and if you were trying to burnish something that was meant to be held in your hand, you don't want it to be super aggressive. Like it's gonna feel like sandpaper unless you burnish it. So you also want to burnish in between the wire. All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some oil. Okay. It's smoking, which is good. Now I can really start burnishing it pretty hard. Oh, a little piece of incomplete wire on the border. That's okay. And I'm really pushing pretty hard. One of the things I didn't realize was how hard Jordan was pushing it when he was burnishing it. I was like, how come mine doesn't look like his? And then I realized, like, oh, you really need to push it pretty hard. Oh, piece is still pretty hot, so I kind of just burned myself, but and the agate kind of heats up too. Oh my god, yeah, after burnishing, everything looks so much more like intentional. It doesn't look like I messed up really at all. But the thing is, it makes the silver wider because, like, it makes sense that it would because you're physically, mechanically pressing it down. Okay. Oop. All right, now what I'm gonna do, it's burnished pretty well. So honestly, I could burnish it for another 5-10 minutes if I really wanted to. But now I want to heat it up for color, which means that I'm going to heat it up way past this oil's like smoking point. It's going to turn really yellow. So I'm going to take off the oil, heat it up, and then oil it again, just so I don't get too much like yellow residue. Okay, let's do it again. And I hope you watch this because it's quite a cool scene. Like right now it's like a light gray. Oh, we got that yellow from the oil. But now, ooh, a little more. I want that background to be like really nice and dark. The good thing is that silver is silver, so it's not going to darken. Okay, a little more. There we go. Boom. And now, all I need to do is... That's pretty hot. Oh, there's like fumes coming off. Okay. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try and cool it down a bit. This brick is hot, right? Oh, it's kind of hot. Okay, the question is now how I can transport this to this without burning myself in a timely manner so that the video isn't over 2 hours long. Okay, it's going to be over 2 hours long, but that's okay. Here's what we'll do. 2 popsicle sticks. Let that cool. And this brick is hot. So we're also gonna... Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to happen. Okay, all right, this should be pretty cool. Now, if I add some oil to this, background should darken a lot. Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, that looks so much better. That is damn near on par with how well the burnishing went at the class. All right, potential thumbnail number 2. Yeah, look at that. That is what I'm talking about. How did I angle it last time? Okay. There we go. Koftgari practice number 1. Doesn't look bad. Practice a lot of straight lines and a little bit of circles at the end. But yeah, I'm pretty proud of that. For practice number 1 and first shop log ever, pretty good result. That's a pretty high standard for how much, like, how well the practice goes for later ones. Because if I want to practice something like engraving, there's a good chance that it won't come out looking good, and it'll be like, there'll be no end product. But I did get an end product from this, and that's pretty nice. Okay, but yeah. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing in the next shop log. I think what I want to do is probably sharpen. Like, I never have a reason to sharpen knives and test out stones, so what I'm going to do is just sharpen a bunch of knives and just like yap over that. But yeah, all right, that's the end of first ever shop log.